Hey, hello, and welcome to Speaker's Corners Brampton. So this is our first inaugural show. Hopefully it's the first of many. We're going to be doing this the first of every Wednesday, the first of every month. And we're going to be talking about different issues, and it's an opportunity for you as viewers to actually interact with the hosts, which is myself and Faisal Khan, which I'll introduce soon enough. But the idea and the concept of Speaker's Corner, we wanted to bring into the modern age. Speaker's Corner is not new. It's something that goes back to Greek and Roman times as well. But in the modern era, in Hyde Park in 1872, a Speaker's Corner was dedicated, and it was put in a soapbox so anyone could actually go in there and talk about whatever they wanted, and they would be unmolested. So it's something that's actually grown since 1872 in London. I know Toronto actually had one down in Nathan Phillips Square. I'm not sure if it's still in use today, but there's Australia, Kitchener, Regina, Hong Kong, Italy. Several places in the U.S. have speakers' corners, and it's an actual place where speakers can go and they can basically vent or talk about whatever they want to talk about. So we thought we'd bring this to the 21st century and bring it to an online platform, which is what we're doing. We wanted to do this several years ago, but the technology wasn't as advanced as it is today, and it's pretty rapid that the changes come forward, and you can do a lot of things. So it's an opportunity for you to interact. Basically, I'll get Faisal on in a moment to talk about how you can interact with the broadcast. But it's a concept that, like I said, we wanted to bring forward a couple of years ago, and now we have the opportunity. So at this time, I'd like to bring on Faisal Khan, who's a member of City Studio and Brampton Focus and a whole bunch of other groups that we operate. So Faisal, you're the back end, you're the brains behind everything. You get assassinated, we're done.
Well, thanks for the intro, Don. Yeah, so I think you did a long introduction there about the background behind Speaker's Corner. Technically, if you want to get on the broadcast to appear beside me or Don or in place of us, you have to pre-register on the website, which is citystudio.ca/Speaker's Corner. And you'll see a sign-up form there. So I think we didn't do too much of a promo because this is our first show and we know things are going to go wrong. But I think 18 people signed up with our promo, and those people hopefully all got an email, and the email has instructions on how to watch the program, whether it be YouTube. I think we're doing it on 4 Facebook pages and 1 Facebook group and YouTube. So there's a lot of ways to watch it. In any one of those platforms, you can put your comments on, and I'll be going through the comments as well. And at the bottom of that email, if you pre-register, there's a button there that says, it's a red button. I think it says to participate. And so you have the opportunity to go live, right? I'll see you pop up on our screen. And if you put a comment about what you're going to talk about, we'll probably let you on, at least today. We can't really promise everybody will be able to get a chance to speak as we go, because we know hopefully, if we do a good job today, there will be a lot of people who will tune in just to kind of talk about what's going on in the city. And that's why we're here. Don and I, for 5, 6, 7 years, have been engaged with the city in a variety of ways. And for the last 6 months or so, since the Neighborhood Watch program ended, we've not really been engaged in the city the way we were. We're doing a lot of other things, this being one of them, City Studio. And we've noticed a lack of engagement, a lack of knowledge of what's going on in the city. And there are things happening, right? There's a lot of the media outlets like the Pointer really coming on with some investigative journalism. And there's no platform for people to really talk about things. And so we want that to happen here. It's open to anyone who wants to participate. And, our opinions are just as valid as yours. Don might say some stuff that I disagree with and vice versa. We're not here to pass judgment. We're here to talk and just kind of be more engaged with the city in ways that technology allows.
Well, absolutely. And there's topics that run across the city, and, there's different things and a lot of people don't hear about it. So, we have a list of things that we want to talk about today. So we're going to kick things off. And if you got a comment or something like that, just like Faz said, just kick it out there. We can read the comment, or if you want to come on and talk about it, we can give you, a couple minutes to vent or talk about. And it's not only something about, it could be negative, could be positive, it could be inquiry, right? We don't care, right? It doesn't make a difference to us. We're just a platform, basically, We have our own opinions, and if you've got a counter opinion, fine, no problem. That's the point of the exercise, and that's what Speaker's Corner was. I know City TV did Speaker's Corner. That was the big one where you put in a coin and talk about it. I think they are redoing that in Toronto sometime. But, like I said before, Speaker's Corners have been around for centuries. So it's something that, going into the 21st or 22nd century, the platforms are here, and it's a good opportunity. I know there's plenty of platforms out there like Facebook and Twitter and so on and so forth. I think we're streaming to 4 or 5 of those tonight as we're doing this, and our platforms as well. So it's an opportunity. We'll see how it goes. And like I said, we've been pushing the envelope ever since we started doing what we're doing. So this is another opportunity. So the first thing up, what do you got?
So we've got a list of pre-prepared topics. We know this. A lot of the residents want to see what this is about before they actually, get their face on the screen. So we've got a number of topics. And then partway through, we're also going to talk about a bunch of opportunities actually for students who are looking for jobs this summer. So we're going to have Harald Patel, one of our lead student interns, talk about that opportunity as well. So we'll have him on as well. But right now, the first topic we want to talk about is City Hall, the chaos that's going on at the CAO's office, and with people like the HR director. Don, do you want to maybe kind of summarize the situation we're in right now?
No.
Well, if you're watching this, you're probably engaged. You probably know there's a lot of stuff going on.
Hey, listen, there's a lot of stuff going on, but it's all hearsay. It's all this and that and everything else. I mean, you had a disgruntled employee, from what it looks, was told to do something, and I guess when some support was withdrawn, then there was all sorts of back and forth. There was, she had claimed, one of the directors was racist, but didn't claim it at the time. So, there's a lot of stuff to sort out. I mean, this is not the first time City Hall has been embroiled with the CEO. If you remember the last council, Harry Schlang, that was another one, right? And it wasn't this council that was involved in that. It was all the members of the last council, including some members that are whining even today, ex-councillors whining about the CEO situation at City Hall. They were responsible for the last situation with Harry Schlang, and he's still getting paid nice severance pay from the taxpayers of Brampton. And that goes on them, right? So, the CEO situation. So we're paying
for 2 CAOs, one that we fired, and one that is not looking very good for him.
No, I think he works for Guelph right now. I mean, he went from Brampton to Guelph, and then he was suspended at Guelph and then reinstated. So, I don't know. Yeah, we only seem to go as far as Niagara region to get either CEOs or anybody. It's after an exhaustive nationwide search, it seems that the furthest we can go is Niagara. So I don't get it. The last council has nothing to whine about because they were responsible for a whole bunch of different things, including, the $1.5 million they gave the Brampton Beasts with no tracking and everything else. So there's a lot.
I'll just update everybody. Okay. So we're streaming to the Brampton Neighbors Facebook group, and there's an issue, not an issue, but it's by design on Facebook. We can't, in the system we're using, pull the actual name and photograph of the person who's making comments from the group. So if you want your name out there, just put it in the comment. But the Facebook user says, why is it that we never hear about issues such as this in Mississauga? And he said,
well, that's a good question, because Mississauga seems to always be, put it this way, there's no scandals coming out of Mississauga. Never, like, Hazel ran a tight ship, right? You heard from Carolyn Parrish every once in a while that, she wanted to stomp on George Bush's face and so on and so forth. But they seem to run a tight ship, and it's not that they don't have scandals there, just that it never comes out. There's no group like us, basically, in Mississauga. That's number one. The Mississauga News is an offshoot of basically the Brampton Guardian. It's the same type of thing, Torstar, but we refer to that as a fish wrapper. There's not much news coming out of that. So why? I don't know. We'll have to, we keep our ear and we hear all sorts of things, but I'm going to tell you, it's Mississauga Council never gets into any kind of embroilment and issues just like Brampton does. Brampton has had a history, a continual history of infighting, yelling, screaming, calling each other's racist and this and that and everything. It seems that they cannot get their act together. Under Linda Jeffrey was the same thing.
But we are
right?
more vibrant. I got to say, the Brampton residents are more vocal. They're more vibrant. Maybe that's the reason why we're more engaged. Because there's stuff going on in Mississauga as well, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So Don, we got Ivan Macri down below. Ivan, I can't see you, so and your mic's off. So if you can fix that, we'll get you on here. Ivan, as everybody knows, is all over Brampton Facebook. He's involved in all sorts of community safety initiatives and promoting small businesses. So I'm hoping, Ivan, you can solve your okay, so it looks like his mic's on. Maybe we just can't see him. I'll add you to the stream here, Ivan. Hi, Ivan, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Ivan, how's it going?
Very good. It's great you guys are doing this. This is amazing. We can hold you down from getting involved with community, and this is great. This is a great tool, and I'm sure it's going to go far.
We just got to make sure that you can get on basically your viewer next time, right? What are you on? Just a computer or a cell phone?
I'm on the cell phone right now.
Okay, all right. So we'll make sure that we understand how to make sure that you can get on with a computer.
You can get on cell phone, but I'm pretty sure it'll be shaky, right? Because Ivan's probably somewhere out and about in the city. But yeah, if you want to connect from your cell phone as well, if especially in later months, because we're doing this once a month, if you're out at a park or somewhere, feel free. It's an amazing platform.
Yeah, we can use it mobile, whatever. So what's your question, Ivan, or a comment, or what do you want to talk about?
I wasn't ready for a question just yet. I see there's so many good topics. You guys put up a list there. It's great. Wanted to see how the this program was going to go ahead first.
So what's your thought, Ivan, on what's going on at City Hall with the CAO? Any thoughts on that? Because I know you have a lot of comments.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah, we're only a half an hour, 40-minute show, okay?
Well, I think the mayor is doing a great job overall. But this is just like disappointing distraction that we have in there. We should be focusing on all the good things that are happening in Brampton. And there's a lot of things going on right now, and I'm sure the mayor is doing a great job, but this distraction's got to go, and I'm sure the mayor will get to the bottom of it. I'm sure there's a legal process he's going to have to look into it, and if he's got what it takes, I'm sure the mayor's going to cut this thing very short.
So, Ivan, just before you go, because we're going to give everybody 2 minutes sort of thing, but you've been involved basically in a lot of Facebook groups and involved in neighborhood safety and so on and so forth. How is that going? How are you doing with that?
Oh, it's going great, and I'm just like trying my best to keep up with everything going on. I got about 10 to 13 groups going on in Brampton right now. I'm trying to set up one each corner, and I'm even splitting up topics like road safety, community safety. I'm doing that separate. And I just hit 3,600 members in Mount Pleasant. That's huge.
Good. So you know what? Keep doing what you're doing, Ivan. We're going to cover a little bit of road safety later on, so we'll talk about that. But thanks for calling in. And hopefully,
one quick comment, Ivan. I noticed Facebook is starting a new initiative called Facebook Neighbors. I don't know if you know anything about that, but I just got an invitation to join that today, so I'm sure that'll be helpful to you as well.
Sure.
You probably didn't get the notification for Facebook yet. They're just rolling it out, and they're piloting in Canada for the rest of the world. So that could be interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. There's a lot of things going on, and I'm sure I'll be looking into it.
All right, Ivan. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Ivan.
Thank you.
Okay, what did you have up there? You had another question for somebody?
Yeah. So Christopher wants to know: is Brampton getting another hospital or not? Okay,
well, the latest announcement from the provincial government and Doug Ford was that basically they're taking the Peel Memorial, which is a lot of people call a glorified clinic, and they're going to add 200 beds to that. It's going to be a totally separate wing, and they're going to add 200 beds to that location. And supposedly a 24/7 emergency room as well. So that type of thing, is it a new hospital? To me, it's a retrofit of a clinic. It's not a new hospital.
And Brampton, it's definitely nowhere near the number of beds that a growing city like Brampton needs. I think we're off by 1,000 or 1,200 beds, even after these beds that were announced were built.
Yeah, the provincial average is 2.3 beds per 1,000 people. So if you take a look at Brampton, we're almost, we're 650. We're going to be 700,000 people. If you do the math, that's 1,500 beds basically. I think Brampton Civic right now is, 680 beds. Let's say we'll give it 700. So even if you had take 700 and this one is 200, that's only 900. We're not even the halfway mark of where we should be in beds per the provincial average. And the hospital is not supposed to.
Let's move on. Sorry to cut you off. Yeah, the
right.
hospital situation will be ongoing.
Right.
So the next topic is pandemic pay in municipalities. So there was in York Region Council, there was a lot of discussion this week. There was small businesses and residents saying, council members should forgo their pay during the pandemic just so they can feel the hurt that small businesses are going through. And their council members they didn't laugh at it, but they said it's not going to do anything. So why would they do that?
Yeah.
Mississauga is the only municipal council that I know of that has actually done anything. And all they did was cut the car allowance to councillors by 1/3. So they're still getting 2/3 of their car allowance. And I think it amounts to $63,000 in savings to the city. In Brampton, I don't think anything has been done. Right?
No, nothing's been cut. And the thing is, I still don't understand why councillors get car allowance, right? You're in a pandemic. We have been for over a year now. We're told to stay home, don't go out. Politicians seem to go out and do selfies, but car allowance, there's got to be some hurt. The old adage of, we're in this together. I think after a year and a half or close to a year and a half that we're coming up to, people are looking at it saying, yeah, we're not really in this together, are we?
Yeah. Okay, so we're not gonna, that's a.
I'm not going to debate the point. It's kicked around for a while. Politicians cutting their pay is something that it's almost like a finding a four-leaf clover. It's almost an impossibility.
But that said, I do think, and this might be contrary to what most people think, I do think councillors are underpaid. If a councillor does the job the way it's supposed to be done, which is you're connecting with residents every day with tools like this, you're holding especially during a pandemic, you're holding things like this every night, talking to residents, going to council meetings, fighting for your causes. It's a tough job, and you should be compensated for it, and so that we get high caliber people running for the positions. Unfortunately, especially a lot of women, why would they want to run in an environment like Brampton where if somebody disagrees with you, they go after you personally?
Well, I agree with that. I mean, I'm not against politicians earning a decent dollar. I take a look at let's say the CEO of Brampton. I mean, he's six figures. I think he gets paid almost as much as the Prime Minister of Canada. You take a look at some of the civil servants on the Sunshine List, and I'm like, these guys are getting more than, some of the people that are running big corporations. I don't agree with, vast amount of sums for public service. I think it's got way out of hand, but I do believe that city councillors are not paid as they should be getting at least a six-figure, and they're not. They got expense accounts. I agree with you. When it's not a pandemic situation and they're doing stuff and they're going to meetings and all that kind of, it's boring to a lot of degree, and it's a lot of bureaucracy you got to deal with. But I think in the pay structure, I would have no problem, with councillors earning more money. To me, that's not a big deal. You get what you pay for, but at the same time, you got to hold them to account for the decisions that they do make.
Okay, let's move on, Don. So the next topic is student internships at Brampton Focus, which City Studio, and then also Small Business Hub. It's all the same thing, different brands for the different kind of segments we're targeting. Before I get Harald to talk about that, I know there's a lack of jobs during a pandemic from students, and we've put out the notice for our jobs, and we do a good job of getting the word out there. I think Harald talked about how many students we had applied, but I'm also involved with a few other organizations, and they don't have the distribution to get that word out, and their students just aren't applying to the jobs, especially high school students, right? So we get funded by Canada Summer Jobs, and so a lot of those jobs are 8-week positions, and so university students want 16-week positions. So those 8-week positions are good for high school students. We do not see high school students applying for these positions. A lot of the people who come to us, it's kind of referrals from other students, And I don't know why that is. And then when they do apply, they don't have the skills of just applying, right? We now ask people to have a LinkedIn account so we can quickly look at their public profile, because it's a lot harder to rely on your public profile than it is on a resume. And most students in high school don't have that. If they do send us a resume, the joke I have is one of our interns, we actually hired this guy. I'm not going to say who he is. He might be watching, but submitted a resume, black background on white text. So I think one of our other interns kind of said, you know what, get over that. Because I wouldn't even print that out. That's a waste of ink on my printer. So why, there's a lot of students who won't do that. I'll give them the time of day. So there's a lot of things like that. I don't know if our education system is failing these kids, if there's just not a word of mouth, the school system is not, there's no opportunity for us to post anything on the school boards.
Well, here's the thing as well, right, Faz? I mean, is this the fourth or fifth year that we've been hiring students for the Canada Summer Jobs Program? We're one of the largest for a nonprofit organization in Brampton. We hire anywhere from 18 to 25 students every year and provide them with all sorts of training. So, as a nonprofit, I'm very proud that we're doing that. We're giving Brampton youth a chance to basically learn a whole bunch of different skills, whether, in front of the camera, behind the camera, or marketing, strategy, and so on and so forth. So
yeah, and a lot of our students use the experience they get here for their next job or for their full-time job or for when applying to university. So we've got students that have gone on to Bell Canada, Royal Bank, IBM, legal firms. We have an intern who just graduated as a lawyer from Queen's University and has a job and credits this job for a lot of the experience and just opening that door and doing well in interviews. One of our students this year is going to Waterloo Engineering. We got a lot of students from Western. But before I go on to that, we have an intern who can talk about the role, and I'd like to introduce you to him. His name is Harald Patel. You've probably seen him over the last couple of years. Welcome, Harald. How are you? Your mic's off, Harald. Oh, I'll turn it on for you. I can't. You got to unmute yourself.
My apologies. I'm happy to be here.
Don, can you believe he did that?
Yeah, I know. How long have we been teaching him how to do front and back work of the camera, and he can't unmute himself? Unbelievable.
Don, I'll take you one-on-one on a computer test, and we'll see who has better skills.
Anyway, go ahead, Harald.
I guess you guys did a great job of summarizing how important these opportunities are for students, and I think that this summer is going to be another great opportunity for a lot of high school and university students who are interested in internship. I myself, obviously, as a university student, have experienced what it's like applying for jobs like in a physical capacity and being in person. With the virtual internship this year and with the way the pandemic's going, things have changed a lot, but we're really excited to have a lot of positions funded by the Canada Summer Jobs Program that'll allow us to hire students to work on some exciting projects this summer, specifically the Small Business Hub. With the pandemic, we're really trying to engage with the local economy by reaching out to small businesses and local non-for-profits and provide them with the media tools that they need to help succeed in the 21st century on a virtual platform. So we really want students who know their area, who are from their region, and kind of know the small businesses and the nonprofits around them and are enthusiastic and curious about what it's like to actually provide strategic opportunities and strategic advice to help enhance these small businesses' outreach. So we're looking for students who are interested in business development, marketing, strategy, video and media. And overall, we just want students who are dedicated, passionate, and want the opportunity to do something different. This is something I can definitely say you can't get at a lot of jobs. Most corporations don't provide this type of experience. So if you're looking for something different, citystudio.ca/internship is where you want to go.
Great, thanks. And what are you majoring in? And where were you going?
So I just finished up at Western. I was studying history and economics. So it's been a bittersweet finish because it was virtual, but I'm excited to be done this one chapter in my life.
So Harald, there's a couple questions here or comments. So one is, couldn't the internship opportunities be advertised in neighborhood Facebook groups like those that Ivan administers?
Yep, for sure. I think they definitely could be advertised there. I believe the internships were actually posted in the Brampton Neighbors Facebook group. So anyone who saw it there can definitely share it in other Facebook groups. We've been using LinkedIn as well as our Twitter accounts, as well as Indeed, which is where a lot of students find these opportunities. But again, the more outreach, the more people that do share these opportunities is the best way to find referrals. And that's the best way to kind of get the word out. Like you mentioned, it's hard to find students who are actually looking for these opportunities.
Yeah, one of our Facebook group users said, are we using Indeed to post there? And that's where we're getting a lot of the senior students from, right?
Indeed, we are. Indeed is probably the biggest jobs platform right now that a lot of students are using. So we've definitely used that as a tool. But we're trying to, of course, use LinkedIn as well, because that's a very powerful tool for small businesses, especially.
So, Harald, let me ask you, how many? What are the? I know we got different people from across Canada. Actually, what is the furthest away we've actually got people, applying for these jobs?
The furthest one I got was from Calgary, Alberta, Western Canada.
Actually, I saw one from Kelowna.
Kelowna, really?
Kelowna, British Columbia. That is definitely farther last time I checked a map.
Yeah, so our application process, when we first issued it, we just said we'd prefer students who live in Brampton and Mississauga, because we're also hiring in Mississauga as well. And that didn't seem to bother anybody from outside of the area. So then we changed the application, say Brampton, Mississauga, and other, and we still have people applying. So there are a lack of jobs if people are applying from abroad, even after we say we're going to give preference to local people.
But it's interesting the scope on once you put it out in the platform. So, that's something that going forward, I mean, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for an across Canada, and through our Facebook Live and our city studio and so on and so forth, and called The City, the other one that we're doing for the city, we're going across Canada, and that's the whole point of the group. If we get anyone from Maqualaquit, we'll hire them. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, we can do remote positions, and if somebody in I don't even know how you say it. It's kind of a sad thing, but if somebody from up north,
let's say
a job, yeah. And Ivan just said, yeah, he is actually posting, I guess, this stream on his group, so hopefully he can put the link as well. But it's not just us; we're getting a lot of applicants, and in fact, we probably have too many to go through. I don't like saying no to young students, because they're all kind of coming in at the same level, and to say no is kind of it's enough.
Well, you know what? That's a hard fact. Sometimes you get hired, sometimes you don't. That's the hard fact of reality, right? So
it's all the other employers, because there's a number of other employers across Brampton and Mississauga who also are hiring students through the Canada Summer Jobs Program, and I haven't seen any of them advertise.
Well, the other thing is you posted something that they said students are having a hard time with volunteer hours as well.
Yeah, well, I think finding the volunteer hours. So not only are we willing to offer volunteer hours, we're willing to pay. So, if you come on board in the summer and you're, let's say, in grade 11 going back to high school, there's lots of opportunity to volunteer as well.
Yeah, so absolutely.
The opportunities are out there for students. I don't know why the school board and the teachers are not part of this process to connect kids with real life work experiences.
All right, well, that's something. But thank you, Harald. Make sure you keep doing what you're doing and checking the Indeed and LinkedIn, and we'll talk to you later.
Yeah,
and if somebody wants to contact you directly, Harald, what's your email?
Yeah,
it's Harald, HIRAL at smallbizhub.ca. That's small BIZ hub HUB.ca.
Thanks, Harald.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
See you later, Harald. Thank you.
Okay, and another question: are we connecting with guidance offices? No, we are not. That's an effort in itself, right?
Yeah, going through school boards with guidance offices, forget it. You're going through bureaucracy, red tape. Forget it.
Yeah. Okay, off to the next topic, Don, which is electric buses on Brampton streets. You probably
saw.
What's that?
I said we're getting 8.
We're getting 8 electric buses.
Yes.
Does that excite you?
Well, we have the highest rate of people actually leaving Brampton. Our activity rate is 65%. So I think you need a lot of those buses to transport people out of Brampton rather than in Brampton. So, public transit is something that if you go to a world-class city, they have world-class transit. If you go to Madrid, Paris, Barcelona, I don't know how many cities I've been in the world, and they're called world-class cities. London, they have a great public transit system, whether it be the underground or a metro system with upper buses, and they have bike share programs. Brampton is not, in my mind, a world-class city, although they promote themselves as that. But people need to get around. If morphing into what we're going to talk about a little bit later, not much later, but the high insurance rates in Brampton. Well, that's because most people got to drive. We're a suburb, right? You got to drive in and out of it. If you had decent two-way all-day go on the weekend, I wouldn't have to drive down to the St. Lawrence Market to get my stuff. I could just take the GO train, right?
Well, I'm excited by electric buses, Don. I have an electric car. I know the benefits of it. I can't even drive by a gas station anymore just because I'm very sensitive to the fumes now.
Yeah.
When I have to fill up my wife's car, I hate that, right? Because I got to touch the nozzle. And, aside from that, though, the interesting thing about this project in Brampton is it's one of the world's first where the charging system and the buses and the infrastructure are all interoperable. So we can get a different bus from a different manufacturer, a different charging system, different batteries, connect them all together. And the reason that's beneficial is because you don't want to be locked into one manufacturer. Then they hold.
That's good.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is one of the first places in the world where that's being done. So we are on the map, and some of the there's a CEO of one of the partners. She's a PhD. And apparently, she's got people from all over the world in major cities calling about this project. So it's.
No, I mean it's good. I mean, obviously at the back end we'll have to see. I know the federal government kicked in, X amount of dollars for the project as well. But at the same time, the back end, how much is it for maintenance? How much you spend on maintenance on your car?
Nothing, zero. I have 130,000 kilometers on my electric car, other than. Tires, changing winter tires and things. Nothing, absolutely nothing.
Is insurance cheaper with your electric car than a gas-powered car?
No.
Okay.
I think the insurance cost is more about liability and where we live, and not the actual replacement value of the car. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not.
All right, but it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, like I said, we need more public transit. If I could get away with not having a car, paying insurance and gas, but I have to with my job. But still, if I didn't, I would take public transit. When I moved here from Toronto, I lived in Montreal, and I did not own a car until I moved to Toronto.
Yeah,
right?
There's a ride share or car ride share program in BC that my daughter uses. She goes to UBC, and her friends took the car, picked her up at the airport, and brought her back. And apparently, it's cheaper than an Uber.
Wow.
So
well, a lot of cities, the taxis are cheaper than owning a car, right? I mean, you go to London, it's cheaper to use a taxi than you don't have to park. Some European cities, it costs you like $60 to park.
Yeah.
So it's not cheap, right?
Okay,
so,
we're going on to half an hour, Don. I know we didn't want to go too much.
All right.
longer.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
Let's
quickly.
talk. Ivan wants to talk about bylaw officers are getting assaulted. That's a big issue, but maybe next week, or do you have anything to say about that? I
haven't heard about a lot of bylaw officers getting assaulted, but
I think one got spat on or something. I don't know. It's wrong. Don't do it. It's ridiculous, actually.
Yeah, the bylaw officers are trying to do the best they can in a difficult situation. They're not armed. They're not the police. They're just trying to do their job. And it's if you're an idiot and you're out during a lockdown and you're not supposed to be where you are, there's no sense in starting to just go home, do what you're supposed to do, and don't be an idiot, right?
Okay, next topic: pandemic vaccines and public health. You must have some comment on what's going on.
Ooh, that was a big one. That was that's been all over the news of what the National Advisory Committee on Immunization said, about the AstraZeneca. I know that Evan Solomon was on this like a duck on a June bug, and it was it's not their mandate. If you go to their website on what they're supposed to be doing, they're supposed to be just advising, on what's going on with the vaccines, whether it be smallpox, whether it be Ebola virus, this, that, and then they make recommendations for the use of the vaccine. That's all they're supposed to be doing. They're not supposed to be saying, well, this one is better than this one. So I think they overstepped their boundaries quite a bit. And there's a politician, even Justin Trudeau was had to backpedal for them and saying,
you just aged yourself there, Don.
Yeah, I know. Well, you see behind me, we got, Pet behind me, Pierre Elliott Trudeau from Donato. So
who's the other guy?
The other guy is Bill Davis.
And who's behind your head?
That's Brian Mulrooney.
Okay.
Right. Cool. Those are all Donatos. When we interviewed Donato, when he got his Walk of Fame star in Brampton, we did an interview with him, Michael Charbon. And when he was in studio, We got him to do several photographs of us. We have one of Trump, but he's not in the picture right now.
That might be worth something. Well, in regards to the vaccine and the kind of the mixed messaging coming out of public health officials, one of the interesting stats I heard from CNN. I know a lot of people don't like CNN, but this wasn't their study. But they said vaccine hesitancy population in the U.S. dropped from 39% in January to 17% now. So a significant drop. The problem is they have a group of people that they refer to as vaccine-resistant population. So that's a terrible term, but it's basically people who are resistant to taking the vaccine, strongly against it. So that has stayed steady to about 20%, which means if you add up the 17% and the 20%, that's 37% of the people who are not planning on getting a vaccine in the US. And from public health measures, 70% minimum is needed for herd immunity. So those numbers are not jiving. I don't know what it's going to work out to in Canada. I'd say it's probably similar to the US. So there is a lot of, there's a lot of demand right now for the vaccines, but it doesn't mean after those people who want to get vaccinated, what's going to happen with the other X% of the population? Are they going to get vaccinated?
Well, that's where Darwinism comes into play, right?
Well, the challenge is, is if you have a group of people who are not vaccinated and they're carrying it, that's where you have new variants that might pop up. And it might not be here, it might not be in the US, it might be in a larger country, and it'll come here. And then the people who do have the vaccine may no longer be protected. So it affects us all, Don.
Yeah, I know. But the problem is you're not going to change the minds of some of those people. There's a percentage of people that are, anti-fluoride. They believe the water is poisoned. The fluoride is there. Then they have the people that, you can't take, there's no immunization. When I was growing up, like my age group, basically when we went to school, we got the mumps, the measles, the whooping cough, we got the polio shot. We got these at school. We used to have a school nurse in the school and administer all these shots. Most people now, and anyone under 40 doesn't remember because they have them when they're 6 months to a year old, and that's when they have the shots.
Yeah.
Right?
So let's continue on. So a quick update from Ivan. He said in terms of the bylaws, one of the officers got coffee thrown on him, and that happened today. Yeah. So that's terrible. Okay.
Well, there's idiots all over the place, right? Yeah. You have the idiot anti-vaxxers, the idiot this, the idiot that. Someone like that is stupid, right?
Okay, so our last topic we have on our list. Hopefully next week it's just
we change every week. No big deal.
Residents raising their issues.
Yeah.
So is road safety and car insurance. The reason that's on there, the road safety part, is yesterday a 5-year-old in Mississauga was hit at an intersection at Huron, Ontario, and I forget the intersection, but it's not really relevant actually. It's the fact that a 5-year-old was killed on the road.
Well, they were biking, right? I
don't know. Does it really matter who's at fault?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, they were biking. You want an active transportation, and basically, we have bike lanes in Brampton, but they're all non-protected bike lanes. Every time, we're talking about e-scooters and mopeds. I saw someone taking a dirt bike, not on the road, but they were driving it on the sidewalk, going about 40, 50 kilometers an hour on the sidewalk.
Yeah. It was here, Ontario and Elm Street, according to our Facebook user. Yeah, well, I mentioned on Twitter, I do a daily walk, and yesterday I heard coming behind me an electric bike, and the only reason I heard it was because it was one of those fat tire bikes.
Yeah.
This thing should not be on the sidewalk. If I was a little kid and I actually, moved into their path, that would have been very, very dangerous. They were going at least 30, 35 kilometers an hour at least. I have no idea. I've never seen something go that fast on a sidewalk.
Yeah, well, those e-bikes, I mean, the new ones, I've taken a look at them because I have, and looked at it and said, well, that's pretty cool. You go about 30 kilometers an hour, and some of those, they can go pretty fast. And the rad bikes, they're, the big wheels and everything else. But, you want an active transportation, you have to have protected bike lanes, because I go up and down Vauden, that area where they have the Rutherford and the bike lanes listed, and even North Park. And it's like, I don't see anyone riding their bike in those bike lanes. I have seen everybody still on the sidewalk, and I can't really blame them because obviously the drivers in Brampton and and Peel seem to be crazy, but it's just I wouldn't have my kid on using those bike lanes unless they were totally protected. You go to any European city, the bike lanes are all protected. They have concrete barriers. They have pylons.
Well, even as a pedestrian, I don't feel safe at rush hour. I crossed Mississauga, Financial Drive and Steeles Avenue, which is like 6 lanes, 3 lanes each way at that intersection. And there's people trying to gun to beat you on a right-hand turn when you've got the right of way as a pedestrian. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, well, let's see what happens at the LRT stop at Steeles in here, Ontario. Let's see what happens there. That's another problem going forward that City Council has.
Everybody
really
knows
addressed.
the issue. They're going to spend I don't know how many tens or hundreds of millions of dollars building that station, and it's going to be a fiasco as well. Okay, Don. So we are near the end. I'll let you wrap up. And I'll see you next month. Yeah. I mean, like I said before, if you've got any comments, you can always send them to us. citystudio.ca / what are we doing for that, Faz? citystudio.ca / Speaker's Corner.
Speaker's Corner. Okay, so we're just putting Speaker's Corner. So if you got any comments or issues, or if you want to put any topics that we can cover next month, no problem. We'll see how it goes. If it goes successfully, we might do it twice a month. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for people that sent the questions, and we'll see you next month. Thank you.